welcome back. What episode is it, Dan? What number?
Episode 9. I have it written down.
Episode 9 of Shack Out Back. As always, it's me, Jim, and the other one is...
Danny.
And we got a special guest, a little creature in the trash can coming with us today. What's that thing over there?
It's Patty.
Oh, little Oatrick.
Little Odie.
Oatrick, formal name of Patrick.
Pat Rick. All right. So this week we're using Patrick's special guest's topic. We're talking about video game B-masters. We're gonna start off every week like we usually do with the bi-weekly breakdown. So what have you been up to, Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick, you tell us first. I want to hear.
Well, because of COVID, we're back at work now. So I have been just wasting my days thinking about work and then actually having to go back to work. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks, is thinking about work and then going back actually. And it kind of sucks. When you get into like the mindset of just being at home and doing nothing, you don't want to do anything. So
you're retired.
That's what I'm doing.
And retired.
They're bringing you back, Pat. They're bringing you back.
I haven't stopped working in like months since COVID was first announced, when Staples went out for like 2 seconds comparatively, and now I've just been working for months more.
I took a week off, but other than that, I've been back. Any video games, books, movies, shows, music there, Pat?
I have a TV show. I haven't really been Oh, actually, I did watch Jarhead, which is a movie about...
Jar Jar Binks' autobiography.
It's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, isn't that isn't it like an army type of movie?
He's shell-shocked after he gets after he has to invade Iraq, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's during when the Americans were sent to dig up the oil, as the theory would suggest, from Iraq.
With their bare hands and guns.
Exactly. So
that's a movie I saw like when it came out, but it's definitely one I'd want to watch again. What did you think about it?
I liked it. I think the pacing was a little bit slow at the beginning. It was a good movie overall. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite war movie, but
no.
I think...
What was your favorite war
wasn't
movie?
My favorite
Full Metal Jacket.
movie.
Full Metal Jack's my favorite movie of all time. So
that's true.
That one's very tongue in cheek, right? Like it's not just war stuff.
Yeah, the thing is, it's supposed to, like, I'm looking for a different word. I'm not looking for frightened, but like the person watching it is supposed to be like kind of baffled by it. Like it kind of sends a bad message to your head. I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's
a very subversive film.
Yeah, it's like a psychological thriller, pretty much. It's not just
Before we go, speaking about movies, Jim, what did you do? What have you done?
What have I done? I finished Uncharted Golden Abyss, which is a very good fucking video game on the Vita. Vita? Chef kiss. Fucking Vita's very good. I got a bunch of other Vita games coming in that I'm going to try.
Have you got Gravity Rush yet?
Yes, I have Gravity Rush for the Vita sitting on my shelf, and Gravity Rush 2 for the PS4 sitting on my shelf too. I haven't played them yet. I just ordered Assassin's Creed Liberation and Rayman Origins. I really like the Vita. I have no fucking clue
what that Assassin's Creed game is.
It's literally just Assassin's Creed.
You said
Vita.
Rayman?
Bad. Yeah, Rayman Origins.
When was the last time you played a Rayman game, Danny?
I've never played one.
I played Rayman, the one... I'm pretty sure I played Rayman Origins. I didn't beat it, but I'm pretty certain I played it.
It came out for everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's came out 50 times.
Yeah.
Or maybe I played Rayman Legends.
It came out on the frickin' 3DS. Well, both of them came out on, like, everything. Other than that, I played a little... I got Greedfall in the PS Plus, like, subscription.
Yeah,
and
it's briefly talked to me about that, yeah.
It's a good game. I like it a lot. It has the worst lip syncing I've ever seen in any video game ever. It's atrocious. It's not even close to what they're saying that their lips follow it. But, like, it has good RPG elements and an interesting story and stuff like that. I don't know if the writing's there, but it's definitely jank, but it's a good game. Other than that, I replayed some Dark Souls. I was playing Stardew Valley and Deep Rock again. I think I'm forgetting.
Play Fallout New Vegas. Games.
I was playing Oh! We haven't talked about the fucking Frontier yet. Can we talk briefly about the Frontier, Dan?
If you want to, yeah. It's something big.
So I did talk about the Frontier in a couple episodes ago, about this huge mod that was coming out for New Vegas. And it came out and had a bunch of horrible shit in it that no one liked, like little girls talking about their smelly feet and sex slaves and like sex lizards and shit that were ripped from the Unity store. A horrible travesty that a lot of people, you could see a lot of people put a lot of effort into it, and then it just didn't have any oversight and came out looking like garbage. So I was playing that for a little bit and it's awful, so I uninstalled it and was playing a little bit more New Vegas, which is still a good game. I'm happy to say that like that came out and everyone hated it, but there's also like a New Vegas randomizer mod that everyone seems to be liking, so made me feel a little better.
I don't know a ton about the Frontier, but I know 7-year development and all that, and that is like a travesty. I can't even imagine if you were in depth with that and really waiting on it. Like, you seemed pretty like, did you ever see that coming?
The only thing I had seen of it was there was this guy who was making a quest line for the Frontier, and he did like a playthrough, like a test playthrough, and I think there's like 10 hours of footage or something of it on his YouTube channel, and it was like the most in-depth New Vegas mod I'd ever seen, with like quest triggers and choices and stuff like that. The premise was you got captured by the slaver and you had to like fight in like this death arena or something, and there's a bunch of ways to get out and coerce people and stuff like that, and they just cut it from the mod for no reason.
Classic.
And they left in all the smelly feet and stupid space battles and annoying shit in that. So
Call of Duty Slowdown. I saw there was a lot of Call of Duty-esque inspired stuff. Very weird.
If you've seen a video on the Fallout the Frontier on YouTube, or even seen a thumbnail that's saying like it's shit, and you can't even get it anymore. They pulled it from the Nexus because everyone wanted to pull their mods out of it, so it's just fucked now. I didn't uninstall it, I disabled it, so I think I have one of the few copies that are actually existing now. I mean, I'm sure there's torrent sites with it on there too, but
True. Well, that's something to happen.
Yeah, what have you been up to, Dan?
Honestly, not too much. School's been getting busier for me, so I've been doing a lot of schoolwork. I've been working a surprising amount. Other than that, I've been playing a ton of The Outer Worlds. I think I've put 24 or so hours into it in 2 weeks, which is a lot based around school and work and stuff. And I've been playing a lot more Deep Rock. I promoted one of my dudes, so we did a deep dive, which is like some endgame content in that game.
You should get that gamepad. It's really fun.
Yeah, you should get Deep Rock. Very, very good game. Other than that, just been watching a bunch of anime too. I'm watching like Gundam Wing and Wonder Egg Priority and Attack on Titan, following it weekly.
Are you caught up with Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan? Yeah, obviously.
The last episode was pretty much a filler episode, but it's gonna be so good. I've heard rumors about like there's going to be a movie to finish it off.
Yeah,
they're not going to be able to finish it in the anime. And I'm not against that. Like, that's totally fine, but...
Is the manga run done?
It's done, yeah. They have an ending for it.
I've enjoyed talking about the Outer Worlds with you, Dan. Do you feel like... I watched some people make videos about, like... I think we talked about this before, too, about how the Outer Worlds is, like, shallow and it's not very good and stuff like that. Like, what is your criticism? If you had criticisms of it, what would they be right now?
I mean, honestly, there's been nothing that's... actually, one single thing. The perk system, a lot of the perks are really ass. Like, they don't do a lot to do anything to gameplay. And the flaws, it's pretty much just the flaw system I think is dumb. Like...
yeah, there's very few of them. If you don't, Pat would know this. It's basically like when something bad happens, like you get electrocuted a lot, you can take a perk that's like you take extra electricity damage, but you get a perk point, but it's not really worth it because the perks aren't that great.
The perks aren't good enough, and the downside isn't like it's too great. It's not just like 10% electricity damage. One of them that I got was corrosive, and it was 30% corrosive damage. That's a shit ton of an increase. That's a lot. So, like, obviously I didn't take it.
I think they raised the level cap or something with the DLC, and I forget about this if they did it or not, but I wished for in the DLC that they would, like, put new perks and different things in there and make it... Oh, they did. They did put new perks and shit in it. So if you get the DLC, it'll be a bit better. You'll have better stuff to get in that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to talk about this week's topic, though, because I'm very interested to see... what people are saying, because I think I have some games that are pretty
let's keep
common,
doing the intro. I don't want to talk about the topic.
Part 1, part 2.
Pat, this is your topic.
Yeah, you go first. What
game were you thinking of when you were like, remasters?
First game that came to your head.
The first game that came to mind was the Legend of Zelda game. But was it an RPG game?
The CDI ones that you were talking about?
Yeah, it was a
last
CDI.
time?
You
Legend
are lying.
I think they were more like from what I can see of the gameplay that I've seen, they had some side-scrolling combat, but they were more like pick thing up to go here and do that. I guess they were Zelda-y, more like Zelda 2, but like they're not good.
Yeah, so the reason I thought of the remastered games was because that game had rumors of getting a remaster, but I don't know about the sort of truth behind that, because there was just like they were trolling. It was a GTX
I'm pretty
1080 or something.
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty sure all it trended was from some dude that made a really hyper intense rig of that dude.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever the king's name is. I think Nintendo would rather you forget about that game. I truly don't believe that they would ever do that.
No, they pretend like it doesn't exist, right? Like that was literally, you know, the story behind that, right?
Oh fuck no.
No.
Okay, so Nintendo was partnering with Sony to make a disc add-on for the SNES, and then they broke that off to go with Philips, the company that made those shitty fucking games, like the shitty Zelda games.
Yes.
And then because they broke up their contract, Sony made the PlayStation.
Sweet.
So Nintendo just took a big foot and shoved it right in their face.
Okay, so his name's Morshu, and yeah, someone named Hulo P or something. He made an RTX, which is like graphics card. He just made an updated version of the original, and it looks good. It looks like it's a real game, but it's pretty much just making fun of the original.
I was gonna say, what games did you want to have a remake or a remaster? Did anything come to your mind immediately?
Well, obviously, I was a little bit disappointed with the 3D All-Stars that came out for the Switch. I definitely think it was. So 3D All-Stars is pretty much a combination of 3 Mario games which came out.
Oh yes, so I remember this. Okay.
SM64, which is Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, and then Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii. So all 3 of those games came out onto the Switch, so they were just ported to the Switch, but everyone thought it was going to be a remaster of the games, but it wasn't. It was just they were sort of updated a little bit and ported straight to the Switch.
They weren't even done well. Like, that's a slap in the face.
They ended up fixing some things. So in like Super Mario 64, backwards long jump is patched, I'm pretty sure, and in Sunshine
it just didn't work.
It's not that they didn't work. They just, you know how like they make games in Japan, and then when they do like the NA release, they patch all the bugs.
Yes,
they did that for
Pokemon.
It was basically that, but 20 years later from SM64 and Sunshine. So
it's just such a poor attempt at remastering it.
Yeah, that if one of those games, I'd say SM64 or Sunshine got a full remaster and not just like, oh, we're gonna update text, we're gonna fix the textures and whatnot. I would be super pleased by that, but
like you can get those games running in an emulator.
Exactly.
Well,
so
I played Luigi's Mansion in 144 FPS in like 1080p on Dolphin like a couple years ago.
That's what I was going to talk about later, is that there's some games that are just absolute garbage on the original that they could remaster, but they're just, I don't know, they just won't remaster them.
It baffles me because Nintendo did such a good job, from what I remember, like porting those, like when they made the SNES Mini and the NES Mini, they actually like tailored the emulators for the specific game, and it sounds like they just didn't do this for that. They were just like, whatever, and just threw them out.
The thing that bothers me, it's such a lazy attempt. Like, I know that they didn't fix resolution scaling properly on the Switch remasters, and not to mention that stupid, I'm pretty sure it's still in effect, it's a timed exclusivity thing, so like in a couple months
they're not going to sell it after March.
Yeah, you just officially, stores won't get more copies of it. I don't know if stores can sell the copies that they have. I'm sure they will. But
it's not just that too, right? They're not selling it digitally.
They are not selling it, which is such a slimy thing for a company like Nintendo to do. It's such a stupid FOMO thing that you have to buy it now. It's so lazy. They have the source code for it. They could have done something really cool. It's just pisses me off.
Speaking of that, before we get into everything, my question is, like, when does a company decide to remaster a game rather than just make a sequel? So with Luigi's Mansion, like we just talked about, Luigi's Mansion was a pretty good game. Like, it's one of my favorite games. What's it called? The first game on the GameCube? and it was great.
Yeah, it was a launch title.
It was the launch title for it. So then when they made number 2, I was super excited because I was like, wow, like that's amazing. This is one of my favorite games. It was a launch title. And then it came out, and I just wasn't that impressed by it. So,
Dark Moon, right? That was the one on the DS. Yeah.
And then they made the third one, which was a little bit better. But at the same time, when did they just...
Who makes those? Like, what studio makes those games?
It's like a B studio of Nintendo, I'm pretty sure. It's not one of their main studios.
Because I know
but,
the only teams I know about are like the team that makes Mario and the team that makes Zelda, and like the specific teams for the brands. But then there's also the team, what were they called, like Retro Studios or something, that makes like the new Donkey Kong Country games and stuff.
Next Level Game made Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3, and I didn't like,
they made
personally
Super
I didn't
Strikers
like
as well.
They made a lot of stuff, yeah. They made a lot of good stuff.
Games did they make?
Quite a bit. NHL Hits Pro, Super Mario Strikers, Mario Strikers Charge.
Those are good games.
Yeah, like they're a good developer. I'm not saying that. I didn't like Luigi's Mansion 2 just because it was level based. It wasn't an open sandbox area.
And not a like big house you can explore.
Yeah,
and stuff.
you do one thing and I'd be like, well, I still want to look around the level, and they'd pull you out immediately. So then if you had to go back into the level to do the coins, it was moons, I believe. You got little shiny moons or whatever. You'd have to load into the whole level again and bum around in the starting area and go through the progression of the level.
Going back to Pat's question, I think that when a studio decides to do a remaster is when it's the most profitable. Like Metal Gear Solid, like they have the Metal Gear Solid like HD collection, and they made that after they had enough games to 3 games to put in it. I think it's like 2 and 3, which are on the PS2, and then their PSP game, they bundled them together and put them on the PS3 and the 360.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really depends per publisher. Like, at least for Japanese publishers, it feels like they're happily able to release a game again to Japanese audiences and no one really cares. Like, Persona 5 and then Persona 5 Royale, what was that, under a year or something? It was all the DLC and stuff.
That's not a remake, right?
Not a remake, they're just re-releasing it.
That's I think, like, I bought it, but it's scummy because it's basically like a DLC pack that you can't even buy the DLC pack for the original copy of the game. They make you buy the game again to get the expanded content.
Yeah,
and they've literally done that with almost every Persona game.
And the other thing I was thinking of was the Dark Souls remaster that is a remaster, but it's effectively shit compared to the original.
That's the one I wanted to talk about. One of the ones I wanted to talk about is that I love this story where you have Dark Souls on PC, right? And it's jank, but people love it, and they have the DS fix.
Yeah.
So the DS fix was like a 1080p, 60 FPS
resolution scaling. It did a bunch of shit.
That came out. It literally came out 22 minutes after the game released.
So fucked, like.
That someone just went in and fixed it and put out a patch.
It's just ridiculous.
That FromSoft couldn't even do themselves, right? And then, like, I think it was 3 years ago now, the remaster came out. They had a studio to come in and do a remaster of it, and it's actually worse than the fucking original.
It's like much worse too. It's not even just like there's some new bugs. It's like dozens and dozens and dozens of new shit that they just made worse.
That was my next question: is what remastered game is worse than the original?
Dark Souls definitely.
That's one that pops up to me.
All they did was do like a frame rate patch. They upscaled some textures. They made some stuff look nicer, like fire effects and stuff. But they fucked the player models. Like
they butchered things people care about.
When you roll in Dark Souls Remaster, your fucking ankles break in on themselves. Like every time you roll, your feet turn around. And like they patched in all of this stuff that was like anti-cheat stuff that people just fucking hate because it keeps people from modding. And the cherry on the cake is that they just stopped. You can't buy the original version of Dark Souls.
If you had the original version, it got changed to the Prepare to Die Remaster one if you installed it again, I believe.
And there's a bunch of stuff in the remaster that prevents you from modding it.
Yeah,
like you can
fucking horrendous. Jim, what's your list look like? Like, did you write down some games that you think deserve remasters? Because that's what I have.
Is that what you have?
I have, that's what I have.
Mine was more themed around remasters that fucking made me mad.
Really?
Like they redid all the Silent Hill games, Konami did. And
I know that was horrendous.
Do you remember that?
Removing the fog and everything because the people that remastered it didn't realize that was a conscious choice. They thought that was just because of the
And then they borked a bunch of like character models and stuff from that.
My list is remastered games that I've played versus ones that I want to play or have seen that I think look interesting, but I haven't played them yet.
There's definitely ones that I enjoyed, right? Like when I was playing PS4 primarily, like I picked up all the BioShock like remasters and quotations.
Those are very good I like those.
Yeah, because they're just
like HD textures and stuff.
Yeah, and made them run better and a few things. So I sold my 360 copies and just had the new copy, right? And that's a total like they're not like, what's the difference between like a remake and a remaster to you guys?
I thought a remaster was upping textures and making it run on current gen, because PC has never been a place for remasters, really. It's always been a console type of idea, because stuff like DS Fix exists, right? Like, technically, we were playing the better Dark Souls remaster 20 minutes after it came out originally.
Yes.
But a remaster to me is when they up textures, make it run on current gen hardware, re-release it, usually with DLC or things like that bundled in. And a remaster is... or a remake, is kind of from the ground up changing ideas about the game using their knowledge.
Stuff like the Spyro remasters that came out Spyro remakes that came out a few years ago, and the Crash remakes, and then Demon Souls for the PS5.
Yeah, like it doesn't change the... Demon Souls is hard because it's almost a remake in my opinion. They changed so much and worked so much at it, but it functionally it is the same game.
It's actually the same game.
Yeah, it's
right?
the exact same game.
They just updated like totally new. I think it's a new engine too, like totally new engine, totally new models and world spaces and stuff. They just copied everything else to a T. Like all the timings are
it's the same. If you've played the original Demon Souls, you've played the remake.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me. Like Blue Point, that's a studio that made that. They did the remaster of Shadow of the Colossus 2, which I've also played, and the remake of the Uncharted games too. That are very good as well.
What game just absolutely should not be a remaster, in your opinion?
That should not be.
That has come out.
That has come out. Let's say in the past 15, 20 years.
Resident Evil 4.
That should absolutely not be a remaster.
No. And they're remastering it.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4 is getting a remaster for no reason almost. Like I was talking to you about that, Jim. Can you still not just buy Resident Evil 4 on the PS Store and the Xbox? Like
they did not a remake, but they did a
like an HD type of thing, didn't they?
Yeah.
So confusing. Like,
and now they're doing a remake of it for no reason. Like, I get doing the remakes of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 because they're like
functionally different games. Yeah, they're horribly different games. Like, those games are fun if you like the series, but openly, I don't think that they hold up at all.
No, they definitely don't. I mean, I like them a lot, but
me too.
You plopped some kind of kid in front of a fucking CRT.
He wouldn't want to fucking play that.
No, that would not fly. But Resident Evil 4, like, sorry, what were you gonna say, Pat?
I've noticed that I think everyone here is we've adapted to expecting high quality games that come out. So going back and playing a game that I played 20 years ago is not the same because I'm so used to the quality of what we've been given. So going off of your point is that if I went back and I wanted to play like, I don't know, what's a game like the original like Call of Duty or Call of Duty 4, I wouldn't be as it's fun nonetheless.
It'd be such a different game you wouldn't even recognize.
You wouldn't,
Call of Duty.
Exactly. The new Call of Duty I've been playing for a little bit and it's amazing. The graphics are really good. It does need some fixes to it, but overall it's a good game and I just don't think I could get used to playing, the original Crash Bandicoot racing when I'm playing Super Mario Kart 8 plus 3D, whatever they call them now.
I think that we're really used to all the conveniences and all the niceties that come with modern games. Like, I feel like modern games do less to waste your fucking time.
Yeah, oh my god.
They control a lot more intuitively and a lot better too, right?
I was gonna say, if you, like... I wasn't a PC gamer as a kid or anything. I didn't play a lot of computer games, but I do remember having games and hearing about games like Legacy of the Druids or Mystery of the Druids and the Freddy the Fish games. And the only thing that strikes me is, imagine if you got a game nowadays and paid $80 for it. It's Canadian, obviously. And you had no goddamn clue what to do or how to progress or anything. Like, games now are very clear about what to do. There's not really a mystery in trying to solve the basic gameplay. I think it's good.
I have played games as a kid, maybe not as much now, but as a kid, where I was stuck on a level and I had to either return the game or just stop
You just
playing.
give up. Yeah,
You
you just
couldn't
give up.
get
I
past
remember
the
that.
level.
You just give up.
Like, that was me too, where like I was a kid and I get stuck on something, but you only had a certain, I think we've talked about this before too, Dan, but you only had a few games, right? Because you're a fucking kid.
Yeah,
Like,
you just
don't
got to
even have a
replay
job.
Alan Wake to 430 hours.
Yeah. Like, it was like me playing Spyro as a kid, right? Like, Spyro's still good. I still play Spyro all the time a little bit, but like, I just replayed that game so many times, and Pokemon too, just because they were the only fucking games that I had.
Yeah.
What I was going to say more on your point, Pat, is that like, I don't talk about this in the show a lot, but I've talked to you guys about it before, but I have a lot of old consoles and old shit, and I like doing that stuff. And I have old games and stuff too that I really enjoy, and I play them not all the time, but a lot. Like the Donkey Kong Country series and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm a special case. Like, most people aren't going to want to go back and do that.
I was going to say, can I briefly talk about the stuff that I top down for games I think need a remaster or a
Sure.
remake in the current year argument?
Yeah.
So, I'm sure, Patrick, you probably have played this. I'm sure you know what it is. Jim will probably know what it is too, but pretty sure it was released in North America. Chibi Robo was the one that I just
Chibi
remembered
Robo.
today.
I've played that game. That's a really good
Chibi
game.
Robo was one of the weirdest things. I don't know how I had it as a kid because my parents obviously wouldn't have known what it was, and it must have been by my brother. But I remember playing that game on the GameCube, and I don't know if we would have rented it from Blockbuster or anything, but I have such fond memories of that game.
You
and
played
to see
it
that,
at the McDonald's kiosk. Where
maybe.
They had the 4 GameCubes.
That's how I played Pikmin for the first time, is on the McDonald's.
Me too. I
kiosk.
remember that. But like Chibi Robo, if they made a Chibi Robo Switch version and had good textures and everything, I would have no problem buying that because I consider that to be, at least in North America, not a hidden game, but almost like
Underappreciated.
lots of people would only recognize that as the Smash Assist Trophy or from the shitty DS games.
Mm-hmm.
Other one that I have, which is hard because it's still perfectly and really, really good on PC, and I don't think it holds up on console as well, so I don't know how much a remaster or a remake would really help it, is the original Fear game.
I was literally going to say that.
Yeah. Just because Fear, like, I replayed Fear like last year on the PC, and it still looks really good for the age. It still holds up. All the controls work really well. It's easy to get running, but it's really a mouse and keyboard game, so I don't know how well it would hold up on consoles in general. I mean, it's still worth it, but
I have the console, like, I have the 360 version.
Really?
And that's how I played it. That's the only way I've played it, and it holds up. Like,
Really?
if you use the controller and stuff, it's fun. But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like remakes are very big in like the 360 PS3 era.
yeah.
And I feel like all the B games, right? Like all the games that were just lining the shelves that you'd pick up for like $5 on sale are the games that like need some remasters. Like, remember like the Darkness series? You guys ever?
Oh,
played that?
yeah, I love Darkness.
Like Darkness 1 and 2, like those are
Good.
they're good games. They're basically like mob games where you're playing this dude who has a demon in him.
Superpowers, yeah.
Yeah, and so this guy Pat has 2 demon arms, and as you're playing, you can dual wield guns and cut people up with your demon arms. So you basically have 4 weapons.
It's
on the screen
very,
at a
very
time.
cool. It was very
They're
neat.
very fun. But like, I love those games, and they are never ever gonna get a remaster.
I was going to say, I feel like PS3 and Xbox 360 are huge just because of the graphical leap between PS2 and PS3. But
Yeah.
like a game like The Order 1886, that PS4 launch title,
Oh my god,
that'll never be remastered because it looks amazing already. Like, games can't just be a graphical update.
One of the big things is when they decide to remaster a game, it's because the texture wasn't either up to date or not high quality, or
Yeah.
the game completely fails. So to
Yeah.
remaster a game, I think you absolutely need to have a successful game, because nobody wants a game remastered
that no one
played.
Yeah, that
Everyone
no one
wants a
cared
game.
about.
When number 2 comes out in a series, I think it's either because I absolutely loved the first game or I hated it. Absolutely hated it. There's no in between for it.
Yeah, it's not like movies where like you watch a movie, like a movie comes out like The Big Lebowski, and it's like no one watched it, no one liked it, and then 15 years later people start watching it again because they get it in the DVD bargain bin, and now people love the movie the whole world over, right? Like, it's not like that with games, because if no one, like, regular people get rid of their consoles, like regular people don't have 360s and PS3s that aren't in their attic, like, not being used.
Like, when I think about how we play video games and talk about them, we are on the minority to even, because most people most people that we talk to are not like this, but objectively, most people that play games buy Call of Duty and NHL and the sports games. That's why they're always on the top seller list, and that's probably the only game that they buy. And that's true. Like, those NHL games and those FIFA especially, they're constantly making top sellers, and everyone always asks who the fuck is buying them, but it's the vocal minority of people that don't say anything because that's all they buy. They don't talk about it online or anything. Silent minority, sorry. Yeah. That's all they buy. They don't talk about it, and they don't do anything with it, and they spend $200 on microtransactions, and they're happy.
Those are such, like, no offense if someone listening to this likes those games, but those are such, like, disposable fucking products.
They're nothing. They're absolutely nothing games. I have two more if you want to hear them. I have another one.
You're gonna get hate mail and, like, death threats.
I'm gonna get acid bomb
after this.
Yeah, that's fine.
People that play FIFA don't know how to use mail.
Well, if we look at it, every single sports game is just like a sequel to the same one. It's a sequel to the one before. They don't make
funny sports games anymore, like Blood Bowl and shit like that. Like
NHL Hits, you said it earlier, is the funnest NHL game. Well, maybe the new ones are fun because there's more to do, but it's one of my favorite games. NHL Hits, like 2002, 2003. But it'll never be remastered because it's just like it's one of those wacky games.
It's just one of those games of the time. It's a product of the time.
Yeah.
And they'll just leave it and never go back to it and try to forget about it. So
my next one, and I don't know if anyone's played this. This is a bargain bin game. Peter Jackson's King Kong, the movie, the video game.
I've heard people talking about
Listen
that
to
and
me.
say it's good.
It's a good game. I played that on the Xbox 360, and it's almost it's one of those games that's almost impossible to run nowadays unless you really fuck with the settings and really fuck with the config files and stuff, because it's not well made for systems. But like remastering a game like that, a la how they did Ghostbusters, that Ghostbusters video game a year or two ago when they re-released it.
Yeah.
That game has the same feeling to me. It's a really weird, specific video game, and if you liked it, you thought it was really good. And the Peter Jackson's King Kong game was a really cool game that had a lot of glaring flaws, but also a lot of really cool ideas into it.
You gotta think that, like, that Ghostbusters remake also came out, like, after the new Ghostbusters movie.
Do you think is that why they re-released it?
And they're making a new they did. And they're making a new Ghostbusters movie right now.
With Finn Wolfhard. Yeah.
I have another game like that too. Did you ever play the fucking Riddick games for 360?
I did. It's one of those things too. I've never played them, but I know that they look good. I've seen so many reviews of them and gameplay of them. Chronicles of Riddick was Vin Diesel, right? It was on the planet with the things and shit. That's what I remember.
He's got goggles
I like the
on,
movie. I like the movie, but I don't like the game.
Which is Chronicles of Riddick, the game.
I don't like the game, but the movie was. I liked it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just one of those times.
I think they were fine movies. They were easy movies to watch.
You like the movie more than the book, pretty much. Is what I can compare it to. I'm sorry.
I have also.
What was your last one, Dan?
So another one, amazing fucking game. You can get it for like $3 on most CD resellers because you can't buy it legally anymore on PC, is Prey from 2006.
Yeah.
Prey,
I've heard you talk about that game a lot.
It is so good.
The original or the remaster?
Prey from 2006, like the game that came out in
2013.
Is it 13?
Oh, no. No, it was 2017. Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, I was going to say they announced... So, Prey, that game that came out in 2017, Pat, is that the one you're talking about where you're on the space station with the goo gun?
Yeah,
it was
a whole new thing.
Yeah, it was the first game in the Prey series, technically. This new Prey has nothing to do with it. They're not related by any means. They're not the same game by any means.
Oh, so I'm just talking out of my ass. That's my bad.
No, but you're not.
It's the same game.
They use the same title. Right?
They use the same title, and there was... Like, the stuff I remember for Prey 2, the sequel, was originally a follow-up to Prey 1, but they're not called Prey 1 and anything. It's just Prey 2017 and Prey 2006. Different games, completely different things. But Prey from 2006, you played as a Native American warrior that the Earth got infested by aliens, and you got sucked up into their big mothership, and you had to fight through the mothership using all these weird guns and weird alien bio guns and shit like that. There was a couple different weapon types. There was a couple different enemy types. They used portals for movement, but it was only like a 4 to 6 hour game, I believe. But it was quality all the way through, and it is impossible to get legally now, so I think I bought it for $2 on G2A and played it in like one sitting.
How long's the game?
Very good game. It's only like 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours. Like, if they remade that, it would be by a weird studio you'd never heard of, and some weird developer you never heard of, and it'd be like $14 to buy.
I think that's what games are doing well, like, in recent years.
I like that for
PC
games.
They're indie games that are just, people don't, like... It's not like, oh, it's Minecraft 2 or Overwatch 2. It's a game that has a completely different, like, meaning or different vibe, I guess. I hate that word, but you could say that. But it's something that people are going to find interesting that ends up doing well because it's developed by an indie company that just doesn't get the recognition that they deserve. So
yeah. Okay, I had one more. I'm sorry. This will be real quick. The original, I believe it was a PS3 launch game, and I've probably played it a half a dozen times and got both endings, and I 100%ed it on the PS3 on my original PSN file, was Infamous 1. Infamous 1 is...
Those are games that, like, people who like them, like, love the fucking shit out of them. It fucking pisses me off that they don't do anything with that IP anymore. It makes me so upset. Infamous 1 was, like, amazing. I loved that game, and I think it still holds up amazingly. Go play it on the PS3. The textures are muddy and shit, but it's amazing. Was
the PS3 the last console was released for?
No, there was Infamous 1, and then there was Infamous 2 for the PS3 as well, and then there was Infamous Second Son for the PS4.
Second Son, yeah.
And Second Son was completely different. Yeah. Second Son was completely different protagonists. Even between 1 and 2, they were the same protagonist. He played as Cole McGrath, I believe. They were functionally different characters, but, like, the concepts in those games were very weird. Like, package Infamous 1 and 2 on a disc and sell it to me for PS5, and it would look so good and run so well.
I don't know why they don't do that more for new console releases. Because the new console releases always have shit games. Like, asshole games. Like, remember when the PS4 and the fucking Xbox One released?
It had nothing, literally nothing.
The new games were like Knack and Killzone, and then Xbox had Rise, Son of Rome, which is a game where you yell at your Kinect.
Yeah. I played that game on PC when I think I got it for like $8 on sale, and it's an alright game if you know what you're getting into, but if I just bought an Xbox One and I was at the store and I said, let me get this game to play it, I'd be real fucking mad that I just bought that game. Especially for $80.
Fuck, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, like Infamous 2 had a DLC where you were vampires and you didn't have like electric powers anymore. You had like blood powers and shit. It was again, the time in video games where lots of shit was weird in AAA games like that.
I was going to say a lot of the games that come out now that just they seem to do well, but I can't understand why. Is that just like you said, Dan, is that they're not very like they're formulaic. New. They're just
Yeah, they're formulaic. Like, lots of AAA games.
It's like, let's make the 15th Call of Duty, and then we'll name it the same as the original Call of Duty, and then
just wrap back around.
And then we'll change it, and we'll make it a battle royale, and it'll have nothing to do with the original, but it's the same name. So
I think that that problem's twofold. Is that like video games are getting very expensive to make, and it's only the big companies that are making them. So there's not a lot of like B studios making weird shit like The Darkness and stuff like that, right? Which is disappointing.
It just sucks because like they say video games are so expensive to make, but whenever you see an like Red Dead 2, very expensive to make. Pretty game and everything, but Jesus Christ, I think that they wasted their time and money in so many aspects of that game. Yeah. So much shit in that game you only look at and you say, that's a really cool tech demo aspect. Why do the horses' nutsacks shrink in cold? Who cares? Who fucking cares? Like, such a waste of time. I pray for the guy that had to code that at his desk for a month and a half. Sit there every day and load up the 4K nutsack image and make sure it shrinks and stretches.
And he was being blackmailed, and he said the owner was like, "Don't release any of this stuff to the public, or you're fired."
wages
can't
were being
let them
held
know.
from him and shit.
Can you imagine doing like 15-hour days, right? And you make 40 grand a
Just-
year, and you're just out of school as a game developer, and all you do for 6 months is make a bunch of horses nut sacks.
It's
like,
funny to
straight.
say, but someone did that. There is someone that did that.
Some poor fucking sap. That was his life.
I just think that video games in a certain way are so expensive now, but it's because AAA studios, just like big movie studios, they just use money as a commodity. They don't actually look at how much and what they should do. That's why games like Deep Rock Galactic and games like Dead Cells and Hades and stuff, like, they use their budget very, very well, and they're
Very
not
efficiently, yeah.
AAA games. Like Deep Rock Galactic, I don't know how much it took them to make, but my god, I bet it's not even a fraction of the cost of what Red Dead 2 took to make.
Or what what Rise Son of Rome or Knack
Yeah,
cost to make.
talk about Rise Son of Rome. I bet that is a multi-million-dollar game easily. I'll
No
look it
one
up right now.
No one remembers that on the face of the earth,
No.
except for me and you, Dan.
How do you guys feel about? I don't remember it. Sorry, but how do you guys feel about games that instead of making a remaster or like anything, they just keep updating them, or they add like a multiplayer thing instead of
Like Stardew
remaster,
Valley.
you're making like a
Very
second
good.
thing.
I think it's very good.
I feel like that's more common with PC games, right?
I would say just because the developers tend to stick with the game. Like, for example, the game I was thinking of was CS:GO, because that game has been out
Wow.
since 2013 and it's still getting updates and stuff. They're trying to make it better. I don't see it peaking because it's already peaked. I don't see it peaking again because it's
CS:GO.
not as good as it was. You know, the whole not multiplayer, but the competitive scene is sort of over. But I loved that game, and the developers put so much time into it, but
There's still money there, right?
Exactly.
Like,
It's 'cause
that's
they
what
can crank
that's what
out the
drives a
money.
lot of that. Yeah, that's what still drives a lot of that development on already made games, is that they're usually, it's either Stardew Valley where it's one guy made it and he just wants to update it, or they're huge multiplayer games where people buy microtransactions in, right?
yeah. And another game I was thinking about was Don't Starve. You guys played that?
I've played it a little
I
bit.
don't like it.
It's not. Yeah, I don't love it either. I don't really like it that much at all. But
Really?
I like what they did with it, and I like that they updated it, and I like that they've done all this stuff for it. And it feels like they're very good to their
I like how
players.
they didn't make a Don't Starve 2. They made it Don't Starve together.
together.
And it's just
yeah,
a
and
multiplayer.
it was just multiplayer.
version.
That's all it was.
And they did do, like, I don't know if it's a different game, but they did like a Don't Starve like island game too, where you use a boat
shipwrecked
to go
one?
down and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't
played
know that.
too. It's not bad. I mean, it's not as good as the
I just-
original. but
I didn't gel. I don't gel well with the mechanics of Don't Starve. I don't like. I feel like
it's very weird.
it's very punishing and
Yeah.
very like, and I don't like those games where you invest a lot of time in. Like,
It's
not
a game that
hardcore-
you can't win.
Yeah,
it's-
I'm
Yeah.
not, yeah.
It's
feel
like
that.
Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a great game, but there's no after. Well, I guess there is a point, but after you sort of beat it, there's nothing to do. Like now, I'm just waiting for events to happen because I can't do anything. I've done everything there is to do.
I feel like there's a difference too, where like in Animal Crossing, like, you built a house, but if you die to one thing, they're not going to tear your house down and make you do it again.
Which is
that was
nice.
my problem with Don't
Yeah.
Starve. So we're getting later on here, boys. So I think we're going to start wrapping up. Any other stuff you want to say about remastered games? I'm just going to like ream off some of the ones I have. Like, I
Yeah,
have all the God of
toss
War
it.
remasters,
Very
the Sly
good.
Cooper remasters, Jack and Daxter, BioShock.
Very good.
A bunch of other stuff. I like playing games in original hardware too, but yeah, it's fun. It's good that sometimes when you get a remaster of a game, they put in something that's really convenient. Like, I have the Resident Evil 4 for Wii, and I will never ever play Resident Evil 4 on another fucking console because it is so nice just to point the fucking Wiimote at the screen to shoot things. I don't know why there weren't more great games that did that.
I would say to close it off, what is your guys' favorite remastered game? What is something that you played either, through your childhood or you just played recently and the remaster was just blew it out of the water. You were so excited for that you just had to play it.
I'm just kind of trying to think. I don't buy too many things like that.
I'll do mine if you want.
Yeah,
you
100%.
go
If you know
first.
yours, yeah.
The Spyro Reignited
Oh,
trilogy.
yeah.
I bought that on release
I remember
day,
you buying
and
that.
like I played Spyro. Like I used to go home from school every day, go to my dad's shop and play Spyro every day. And let me tell you, I still have my copy and stuff, and I still play it. But that Reignited trilogy is such a good remaster. It's probably one of the best remasters I've ever played. It's so good. It made me like emotional playing that shit.
The texture updates are just they're beautiful.
And the character remodels and stuff too. Yeah, it's such a good looking game.
It's just so crisp.
I'll say one that might be weird to say, but I played it and I loved it, and then I bought it again and played it when it came out as a remaster. Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition. I played the first Bulletstorm, and it was amazing. And then when Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, I don't like what they did with Duke Nukem was really keyed in and shit and all that stuff. But it's a really fun game, and it's a little expensive for what it is. It's like $40 or $50 on PC. But if it goes on sale, grab it. But that's probably mine. I don't really buy too many remasters. Once I'm kind of done with a game, it's pretty rare for me to replay stuff. If it's got to be really good. Like, I've replayed Borderlands
unless
and Bioshock
a game was completely part of my childhood, I probably won't play the remaster. I'll play the original over the remaster.
Yeah,
that's a lot of. I guess that's a lot of remasters too. Is like nostalgia bait stuff.
Yeah,
pretty
but
much.
I think we are done here. The fire's dying on this conversation.
I think we're kicking Pat out so we can fucking pick our next topic.
See ya, bye.
It was nice having you on, Odie.
Thank you.
Nice having you on, Patrick. I'm sure we will
have
again.
you back.
Okay.
Yeah, for another topic. But right now, I want you to leave this fucking shack out in the cold. Get out!
Three's a
Go
crowd.
jump in a snowbank, you fuck!
Bye. See ya.
Bye,
Peace.
Pat. All right. Remember, still here. Me and you, Dan.
That is me and you, just as it began, just as the world began, me and you sitting here.
God woke up on the seventh day and he said, let there be Jim and Dan instead of Adam and Eve.
Well, I think that was a good talk.
Yeah, it's my pick for next time, Dad.
Do you have your thing already?
Oh, yes, Dad. You know what I'm going to pick? Do you know what I'm going to pick?
Movie, watch Eraserhead. That's my guess.
It's something that I've been talking to you a lot about recently.
Is it Stardew?
No.
Something you've been talking to me a lot about recently. Fallout?
Did you give up?
Yes.
Star Trek!
Oh, true. What are you having us do?
We're talking about Star Trek. I'm going to say...
Watch the movies, watch some other things.
Have you ever watched Star Trek before?
I've watched all the original series.
So what I would say is just watch... start with season 2 of TNG and just watch a little bit of it. If you want to watch season 1,
that's the Picard one?
Yeah, so just start with season 2. It's definitely on Netflix this time because that's where I'm watching it right now. But watch a little bit of season 2 and watch some more of it if you want for next time. But that's what we're talking about.
I watched the first Star Trek, the original series, because my dad had all the seasons in big boxes, and that's all I watched as a kid. And I think I filtered, forgot a bunch of them, but I know I did watch them all. But I'm excited for that conversation.
Yeah. I'll talk about more about stuff next time, but I think that's it for episode 9 of Shack Out Back.
That's all. We're closing on episode 9. Goodbye, everyone.
How do you want to take us out here, Dan?
I don't know, really. I don't know. Just fade out. I'm getting tired. It's actually late. We're filming a little bit later.
I'm sleepy.
We're filming a little bit later. I'm sleepy. Put sleeping music over us talking and fade out.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.